हेलो 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 हेलो। हेलो हेलो। हेलो।
ഹലോ ഉണ്ടോ? എങ്ങനെയാ അറിയണേ?
No one would ever dispute that the High Court of Kerala occupies the pride of place among the high courts of the country. Stalwart judges and lawyers of a high court have never been second to none in spearheading rule of law. Trailblazing judgments have been handed out in plenty by our high court. Now, we are at a crossroad by adding to our justice delivery system the cutting edge of digitization. Speedy justice, which is a national desideratum, is facilitated with ease by digitization of the adjudication process. By drifting to the virtual court environment, we are virtually at an epoch-making moment.
for the launch of the e-filing modules for the High Court and subordinate courts, virtual court, and other projects of the High Court of Kerala. On behalf of the E-Committee of the High Court, I warmly welcome each one of you to this function. We have with us today Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge of the Supreme Court of India and the Chairman of its E-Committee, who has graciously agreed to inaugurate the launch of our E-Committee's projects. He will be present virtually from his chamber in New Delhi. On the dais, we have the Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, without whose support the current projects would not have been possible. Also on the dais are the members of the E-Committee, Honorable Mr. Justice Mohammad Mushtaq, its Chairman, Honorable Mr. Justice A.K. Jaishankar Nambiar, Honorable Mr. Justice P.B. Suresh Kumar, Honorable Mr. Justice Shaji P. Chali, and Honorable Mr. Justice Raja Vijay Raghavan. We also acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Judges of the High Court of Kerala and the Honorable Judges of other High Courts of the country, as well as the Learned Advocate General, Shri C.P. Sudhakar Prasad, who have taken the time out to be with us via video conference. We are also joined by Shri Loknath Behra, the State Police Chief and Director General of Police Kerala, as well as Shri Ajit Kumar MR, the Transport Commissioner and Head of the Motor Vehicles Department Kerala, both of whom will be joining us virtually from Thiruvananthapuram. Before we begin the ceremony, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to everyone on the E-Committee, as well as the IT team and lawyers behind the development of these projects, as an immense amount of time and effort has been put into developing these systems. In the present times, when the world is in the grip of a pandemic, the visionaries of the E-Committee have left no stone unturned for creating accessible systems to ensure speedy dispensation of justice. Through their years of experience, and after consulting both lawyers as well as the best technical minds, the committee has developed 3 unique models for e-filing of bail applications, motor accident claim appeals, and land acquisition appeals in the High Court. Each of these modules will be explained in brief later on during this program, but detailed instructions are available on the YouTube channel of the High Court. An e-filing system for subordinate courts developed by the E-Committee of the Supreme Court is also being launched in the Munsif Magistrate Court at Kolancheri and the Munsif's Court at Ernakulam today as pilot locations. In addition to these unique e-filing modules, virtual court for traffic challans, and a few applications such as digitized certified copy application service, offline certified copy application module for subordinate courts, and a mobile application for assisting lawyers named KHC Services are also being launched today. The E-Committee is proud to launch these projects. However, these are only some of the many steps that the E-Committee proposes to take to revolutionize access to justice and administration of the judicial system. I now invite Honorable Mr. Justice Mohammad Mushtaq, the Chairman of the E-Committee of the High Court of Kerala, to initiate the proceedings.
Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chairman of E-Committee Supreme Court and Judge Supreme Court, Chief Justice of our High Court, S. Manikumar, sisters and brother judges of this court and different high courts of this country, Learned Advocate General C.P. Sudhakar Prasad, State Police Chief Loknath Behra, Transport Commissioner Ajit Kumar MR, IPS, ladies and gentlemen. We were looking forward to this day for the last so many years. Not that we have achieved big thing today, but we reckon today that how belief that we can do something for the system. A couple of years ago, when Justice Navneet Singh Prasad took charge of, assumed the office of Chief Justice of Kerala, he assessed our infrastructure, IT infrastructure, and rated as the most backward state in the country. We took it as a challenge with a determination. We determined to face these challenges based on three aspects. First and foremost, a built and most efficient programs suited to the High Court. Efficiency, according to us, is not in terms of functional for the High Court, not being a transposition from a physical environment to online environment. According to us, it should serve the people. The system has to be changed, according to us, for the people, not for the judges or lawyers, or not for any other stakeholders. The changes is required for the people, so their interest is foremost for us. This is how we developed our e-filing modules. My brothers Raja Vijay Raghavan and PB Suresh Kumar put their all efforts in developing this e-filing module, which is most friendly, most sophisticated, and which would serve every aspect which is involved in administration of justice. So this was our most important ideals we kept in mind while developing our programs. The second most important aspect which we taken into account is a coordination and cooperation with all stakeholders. As we said, this is a program for the people. The changes is for the people. So in that process, we have to involve all stakeholders. None should feel that it is something is being imposed by the lawyers, judges on others. So we develop a culture and value in the process by involving all stakeholders, including the lawyers. It is with assistance of the lawyers we developed all our modules for e-filing. Without their support, we could not have achieved in the shorter span of time. Even the tutorials for our e-filing module was developed by lawyers. I appreciate the efforts taken by the young lawyers of this court, Ranjit, Leo Lucas, Annapurna Lega, and Parvati Manoj in developing this module. And also they're taking this responsibility for training lawyers and other stakeholders. We believe it is only through the collective efforts we can bring changes. Maybe there will be lapses. Those lapses may be attributable to individuals, or it being termed as a lapses or deficit is based on a difference of our perceptions or notions. Nevertheless, we must not frustrate our aims, because ultimate aim is to serve the people in a better manner and the best possible manner. I'm not worried about the differences which may have crop up in developing the programs, but I'm certainly worried about certain interferences coming from the different corners. If we allow that indifferent attitude to prevail, the causality is the system. We must stand for the people. The changes is required by the people in tune with the time. If we fail ourselves, the people will fail us, not in with not time. So we have to always remember those aspects in our mind. Third aspect which we taken into account is the building infrastructure for IT development. Recently, we decided to start the directorate exclusively for IT infrastructure. This will be under the cadre of, it will be under the director who will be in the cadre from the district judge. Our Chief Justice is always in support of creating infrastructure for us. In fact, the moment he assumed the charge of the High Court of Kerala, he insisted deputing our IT personnel to the Madras so as to adopt the best practice followed in Madras High Court. We'll be soon implementing those best practices in those programs and applications applied in Madras, Chennai High Court, or in Kerala also. Our Chief Secretary Justice also secured assistance of an IAS officer. Maybe in the first time we are securing assistance of an IAS officer. Now that Dr. Chitra IAS, the director of the IT mission, is also part of a building infrastructure. With these assistance, I'm sure within the period of 6 months, Kerala High Court will be in a top position like any other high court in the state. I once again solicit support of the hall in building its infrastructure for the High Court. I conclude, and while concluding, I acknowledged my personal gratitude to the high-level team led by Ishaq in in making this epoch event. Thank you, one and all. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful views. We will now have a short video explaining each of the e-filing modules in the High Court. Since both the e-filing modules in the subordinate courts as well as the virtual court are already in existence in other parts of the country, we will not be going into details of their workings during this program. Let us now take a look at the video.
Good afternoon. I'm extremely delighted to introduce the interoperable bail module developed by the Kerala High Court. Now, interoperable bail module, unlike the system we had earlier, enables the entire stakeholders to have a dashboard. The public prosecutor, the judge, the filing scrutiny officer, and the personal secretary, including the advocate, will have a dashboard. In the dashboard of the advocate, he can see the cases filed by him, and he can also do e-filing. What in the case of a bail application, what happens is he inputs all data. As soon as he inputs data, it is sent to the High Court. If there is defect, the defect is cleared. And then when the case is registered, intimation is given to the police as well as the government pleader. The government pleader can get the record from the police. It is electronically transmitted to the dashboard of the government pleader. As soon as the documents are received, the government pleader will upload the documents to the judge's dashboard. This happens on the next day, lightning speed. Earlier what used to happen was that several days used to be taken by these people to get the documents to the High Court. Now what happens is on the next day itself it comes. The judge can take the matter up on the next day itself, pass appropriate orders, either allow or dismiss. If he is allowing the order, bail application or dismissing, the order is digitally signed. The digitally signed order is uploaded to the server, and it will also have a QR code. The order is forwarded to the party, and he will also be intimated. It will be sent to the court concerned, the jail, as well as the police officer. The advantages are manifold. Now, human resources, which was being wasted earlier, is totally avoided. In the High Court, several data entry officers used to sit and retype the whole thing. Now, the advocate himself types everything, and effort is saved. Earlier, the police officer used to come from far corners of the state of Kerala, from 200-300 kilometers away to the High Court, carrying the CD. That is avoided. Police will save huge sums of money. Now in Kerala, police have already scanned all these records. Therefore, there is no problem for them in transmitting the records to the public prosecutor. As far as the judge is concerned, he gets the access to data immediately after when the case comes up before him. There is no question of any adjournment to a further date. Therefore, he can pass orders then and there itself. It's a win-win situation for all. Now, what are the benefits? It improves access to justice a great deal. The departments which used to sit as islands are interconnected. All these people can interact with each other. Then the saving of resources as well as money, needless to mention, huge amount is saved. And ultimately, who is the person who is going to gain the most? The person who is undergoing incarceration. It would greatly enhance access to justice. I hope our system works perfectly, and we will spare no efforts to go to the next version, like interoperable bail module version 2, in a short period after getting input from all concerned. Thank you very much.
I shall give a brief narrative about the e-filing module developed by the IT team of the High Court for motor accidents and claims against. Before I tell you something about the module, I must share with you the thought process which led to the development of the module in the present shape. As far as motor accidents claims appeals are concerned, the present tendency in the High Court is approximately 25,000. We notice that substantial number of matters which are now pending are defective. Going by the current pace at which this category of cases are being disposed of, it will take years to clear these areas. It is all the more so since there has been a sudden and steady increase in the filing of the matters as well. As such, when we thought of introducing e-filing, the committee in charge of computerization was very particular that we should develop a module in such a fashion that we'll be able to clear the pending cases at a higher pace. As you all know, as far as motor accident claims appeals are concerned, generally it falls into three categories: appeals preferred by the owners, appeals preferred by the claimants, appeals preferred by the insurers. As far as appeals preferred by the insurers and owners are concerned, as also, drivers, they are mostly on questions of law. We notice that most of the pending matters are either covered in favor of the claimant or in favor of the insurer. But we do not have a mechanism to identify those cases and list those matters together for disposal by batches. Similar is the situation as far as the appeals preferred by the claimants as well. We notice that if we are able to categorize and club the appeals preferred by the claimants by batches, like cases involving death of children in the age group of 1 to 6, in the age group of 6 to 15, cases involving death of skilled laborers, cases involving death of unskilled laborers, and likewise with reference to the date of accident and with reference to the age of the victim, etc. We'll be able to club together those matters and dispose of at a very higher pace. Likewise, as I mentioned, the defects. The present system of notifying the defect and boarding the defect matters in court after some time has become obsolete. We found that for the purpose of improving the system, we need to have a system so that the defects would be automatically informed to the concerned lawyers by automated emails or SMS. Like that, if we can just do it, we can just save the time that is spent by the court for dealing with defect matters. So there will be considerable savings in the judicial time. That time can be utilized for disposal of the matters on merits. I believe that the module that is developed now contains, or rather it is having a solution for all these problems. This is developed with the inputs given by persons involved in the matter, including lawyers. And I believe that once the module is implemented and once the data in respect to the pending matters are uploaded in the system, we will be able to dispose of this category of cases at a very, very higher pace. In addition, I must also tell that this would enable the lawyers to file the matters, that is the motor accident claims appeals, in a very convenient and effective manner hereafter. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be a part of this endeavor of the E-Committee to introduce different modules that are developed by the high-level IT team under the supervision of the E-Committee of the High Court. Various modules are developed already by the high-level IT team. I'm supposed to introduce a little bit of the land acquisition module, the land acquisition cases module developed by the high-level IT team. In fact, the E-Committee of the High Court found that the pendency of the land acquisition cases contribute largely to the total pendency of the cases in the High Court. So we thought of developing a system so as to identify the connected cases, club them together and hear it, so that the total pendency can be brought down. The litigants would get the relief at the earliest possible. Initially, we thought that by collecting so much of micro details, and there will be technical snag to handle the system by the stakeholders as well as the judges. But once we have developed it, we found that it is so easy. By making necessary entries in the earmark fields, we found that the system can locate the connected matters, club them together and post it before the judge concerned. It is also a significant feature of this e-module that the court fee will be automatically calculated once you enter the necessary details in the earmark fields. We thought that there will be complications in the system developed, but we found that it is so easy to manage the system, and even if there is some technical difficulties faced by any of the stakeholders, we have started an E-Seva Kendra in the information center of the High Court in order to extend necessary support, advice and guidance to the persons approaching the E-Seva Kendra so far as the filing of the cases of the land acquisition appeals is concerned. We require the cooperation of all the lawyers and other stakeholders to carry this forward and attain the target of computerization to the High Court. Thank you.
Now that we have seen the salient features of the e-filing modules, I invite Shri Loknath Behra, the State Police Chief and Director General of Police, to share his views on the working of the e-Challan application and virtual court.
Honorable Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable Justice Mr. S. Manikumar, Honorable Justice A. Muhammad Mustaq, Honorable Justice A.K. Jaisankaran Nambiar, other respectful judges, dignitaries and attendees. Today it is an historical day for all of us. When in our Kerala state, there are 6 activities on the electronic platform concerning the jurisprudence and the courts are being inaugurated. No, needless to say, it will bring in a paradigm shift in the dispensation of justice. As a part of introduction, when ma'am spoke about Kerala High Court is one of the most progressive high courts in the country, I have no doubts about that. Working so many years in Government of India, being exposed to various high courts in the country, I can emphatically say that we are one of the best. May it be technology, may it be any other thing relating to justice, Kerala High Court is in forefront in many things. I should say one very personal experience. During the COVID time, when the lockdown started, the kind of proactiveness shown by the E-Committee of the Honorable High Court is stupendous. I do not think anywhere this has happened. The kind of proactiveness shown by the E-Committee and hearing every day matters to dispense justice quickly, whether it is a bail application, whether it is very important thing. The honorable judges were available, the lawyers were available, and it was actually very much actually appreciated by the people of Kerala. This has shown that what a proactiveness on the basis of use of technology can do. I can say one very sharing in a lighter way. Some of the lawyers who spoke to us, they were that time technologically challenged, but they have now become techno savvy, and knowing the difference between the PDF or a Word file and doing so well. I mean, it is all the actually contribution of the Honorable High Court. I could say that they could inspire them to become techno savvy. And one of the best things is that the virtual court, which I will speak later. But I thought that the e-filing of bail application, where Honorable Justice Vijayaraghavan sir said, it is going to save time, energy for everybody. So it is one of the finest things I could think of, that filing a bail application through electronic means will definitely help all the stakeholders. Virtual court, we wanted to inaugurate it on April 1st. Thanks to the lockdown, we could not do it. But nevertheless, we are doing it today. And maybe tomorrow onwards, it will bring in a lot of good things, because a person has not need not have to go to the court and spend time there. Maybe actually adjournments, all these things will be avoided, and it will be very transparent, and he can have a record, he can have a log, everything will be there. And in Kerala, sir, you are going to actually be very successful, considering the fact that in Kerala, the penetration of the smartphones is the highest in the country per capita. So therefore, it is certainly going to be very successful, I have no doubt. We are now limiting the virtual court to only the traffic offenses. Maybe that e-committee and other stakeholders can think of extending it to some other offenses in the due course, which will be actually very useful, so that the people will enjoy this particular thing and like it. At the last, I wanted to say, we have a dream. All the police officers always say that whether we can have an electronic trial, there are a lot of pros and cons on that particular issue. If at all an e-trial has to be a reality in India, then we have to do an amendment to a various sections, the way we did it for 275 CRPC. Probably we have to amend 267, 273, 278, etc. So this is a domain which I am not actually the person, but it is a dream. As I said, it's a wish list. If it happens, it will be very quick. But there are obviously there are flip sides. Similarly, when one day when I was talking to the members of the E-Committee of the Honorable High Court, we were thinking about probably at one point of time, Kerala High Court will be the first to have a cloud of its own, and it can be called the Kerala High Court cloud. So all the things what Vijayaraghavan Sahab said right now can be a reality, putting all everything there, and you can do it. But the only most important thing here is the bandwidth and the security. These two aspects have to be taken care of. The security you have to really define, and what kind of encryption to be given, what can be the length, and the technical people can do it. We are the beneficiaries of today's inauguration, and so also the Transport Department and the people of Kerala. However, the judiciary will be benefited, that is their actually dispensation. But I can say, sir, I can admit to all of you, sir, it will be a great benefit to the police department and to the motor vehicle department, and also to the people of Kerala. Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me and giving a scope to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Shri M.R. Ajit Kumar, the Transport Commissioner of Kerala, to discuss his thoughts on the virtual court project being launched today.
Honorable Dr. Justice Shri Dhananjay Chandrachud sir, Honorable Chief Justice of Kerala Shri Manikumar sir, Honorable Justice Shri Mustaq sir, Honorable Justice Jaishankar Nambiar sir, distinguished members of the judiciary, colleagues and dear friends. We, the Motor Vehicle Department of Kerala, are proud to be associated with the project of the virtual court initiated by the Supreme Court of India and High Court of Kerala. The NVD Department of Kerala has been one of the pioneers in adopting various initiatives and also the application of information technology for the last 18 years. As a process, we have progressed tremendously in utilizing these applications, and today we are in a position to introduce the e-challan facilities, which will be basically used by the enforcement wing of the Transport Department. In addition to the other wings, we are also actively involved along with the police department for reducing the motor accidents. And as a part of that, the Safe Kerala project is being through in Kerala now. Based on that, we have introduced this e-challan system. And this e-challan system basically brings the enforcement officials, the public, and the judiciary in a single web platform. The specialty of this platform is that we have a comprehensive integrity of the data, a transparency, and of course, the process of justice delivery is expedited. It also brings in the integrity of process, the integrity of the integrity of action, the integrity of process, and of course, a quicker delivery to the public. The beauty of this e-challan system is that it's all evidence-based, instantaneous, where the department, the public, and the judiciary can access the data all throughout anywhere in India, anytime. This also brings the enforcement data in a single platform, by which any vehicle in the country coming to Kerala or going out of Kerala, the data is accessed through the system, which helps the enforcement officials and also judiciary in expediting the criminal justice delivery system. We are proud that we are also being associated with this system today, along with the police department. The state police chief has dealt in detail with his wish list. I also do belong to the department. I also feel that that wish list will come through fast, and we will be in a better place to transform mostly into e-platform to see that the criminal justice system delivery to public is expedited. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now invite the Honorable the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice S. Manikumar, who has been instrumental in the development of these projects, to address the gathering.
My Lord, Honorable Dr. Justice Chandrachud, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Chairman E-Committee, my esteemed brother and sister judges, Chairman of the E-Committee of other high courts, Brother Justice Sivanyanam in particular, Sri Loknath Behra, State Police Chief, Sri Ajit Kumar, State Transport Commissioner, Sri Sudhakar Prasad, Learned Advocate General, Government of Kerala. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. COVID-19 has made the world to face unprecedented events. Access to justice is a constitutional mandate. The Honorable Supreme Court has formulated features of access to justice. They are effective adjudicatory mechanism. Such mechanisms should have reasonable access in terms of distance. Adjudication should be speedy, and it should be affordable. Keeping in mind the paramount duty, courts in India have to take its guard against the present situation. With social distancing, a precautionary measure, integration of science and technology into the legal procedure is the need of the hour. The enormous team of the Kerala High Court, with the active inputs from the honorable judges, learned advocates, clerks and registry, has developed e-filing, modules for bail applications, land acquisition appeals, motor accident claims cases, online certificate copy application, e-filing in district judiciary, and virtual courts. Virtual court is a concept aimed at avoiding the presence of litigants in the court and adjudication of the cases online. Introduction of virtual courts will bring a sea change in the process of conventional adjudication and will give a new dimension to the justice delivery system. Introduction of the above modules will revolutionize the process of filing, consideration and disposal of bail applications, copy applications, and the appeals referred to above. As far as district judiciary is concerned, we have identified 2 courts, Municipal Magistrate Court, Kolanjeri, and Municipal Court, Ernakulam, as pilot locations for e-filing. And I'm sure within a short time, all the subordinate courts will be enabled with e-filing. On this occasion, I wholeheartedly appreciate the relentless efforts put in by Brother Justice Mushtaq Mohammed, Chairman and other honorable members of the E-Committee of this court, learned advocates, and the entire team for their valuable contributions to the projects. In the digital era, Supreme Court of India is the torchbearer for the courts in India. My Lord, the Honorable Dr. Justice Chandrachud, Judge, Supreme Court of India, and Chairman E-Committee, has been the source of inspiration and motivation to all the E-Committees in the country. I remember when my brother Justice Mushtaq was interacting with the Chairman of the E-Committee Supreme Court and the encouraging words. I'm sure that the Midas touch of his lordship in inaugurating the modules will take the Indian courts to great heights in the justice delivery system and achieving the constitutional mandate, access to justice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have now come to the most awaited part of today's program, the inauguration and launch of the projects of the E-Committee. For this, I humbly invite Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Judge of the Supreme Court of India and Chairman of its E-Committee, to deliver his inaugural address.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Chief Justice Manikumar, Justice Mohammad Mushtaq, the chairperson of the Computer Committee, and all the colleague judges on the Computer Committee of the Kerala High Court, judges of the Kerala High Court, and Brother Sivagnanam from the Madras High Court, Learned Advocate General of Kerala, the State Police Chief, Mr. Behra, the Transport Commissioner, members of the bar, and invitees. If you ask me at a certain level, or if you ask an uninitiated person, should I say, about what's the importance of e-filing, one answer which you would get is, well, we filed cases in paper and now we are filing them in an electronic form. So we are converting what was done in paper into an electronic mode. To look at it in that way really is to miss the bus or to miss the wood for the trees. To my mind, the significance of the venture today by the Kerala High Court, the project which is being initiated, is that e-filing will ensure digital information at the very source. Therefore, e-filing constitutes the cornerstone of the work of the E-Committee of the Supreme Court of India. We have placed such great importance on e-filing and on our softwares that we are using the FOSS model, as you know, which is a free and open source software. In the E-Committee of the Supreme Court, my mission is very clear. We lay down an inviolable core of the application, the software application, but we leave sufficient room for the high courts for unlocking their creativity and for allowing them to flower in a manner which is best suited to the requirements of each court. We have heard about the salient features of today's inaugural projects. I want to emphasize some critical features which must be of importance, particularly to citizens. First, what is being launched by the Kerala High Court will ensure real-time scrutiny of bail applications. Bail applications have an intrinsic connection with human liberty. Those who are under incarceration have to go through various levels of the state apparatus before they can lay a claim to freedom. Therefore, real-time scrutiny of bail applications, including in the registry of the High Court, is an important first step to be open, to be transparent, and to be efficient. Second, through this process, we are fostering linkages with other stakeholders, such as the jail authorities, the prison officials. Third, it envisages the transfer of records by the police stations to the public prosecutors. Now, in this way, we ensure greater accountability of our public prosecutors and the prosecuting arm of the state government. Access is provided to the judges of the information on their dashboards. So this is a quantum change in the criminal justice administration that we are embarking upon. Up to now, judges were entirely dependent on what is given to them by the public prosecutors in terms of the stage or the status of the investigation. Power and information is now placed at the command of the judge. The judge assumes charge and responsibility for fairness of the criminal justice administration. Digital signing and communication of orders. How much time elapses in our system before the accused who has been granted bail is ultimately entitled to get the benefit of that order and walk out of the jail premises? So digital signing and communication of the orders would ensure seamless and almost instantaneous communication of the orders which are passed by the courts. Another very significant feature is the linkages with the Revenue and the Land Records Department. Linkages with the Revenue Department for verification of sureties. Linkages with the Commissioner of Land Revenue. If it has not been done, I would suggest that is done also. Namely, that there must be an uplinking between the land records which are maintained by the Land Records Department with the records of the trial courts, so that the trial courts can easily verify the status of lands which are offered by way of surety or security in the course of civil and other proceedings as well. In the land acquisition module, the e-filing module today that is being used by that is being inaugurated today will facilitate the use of data to ensure that common citizens whose lands are acquired for the purpose of development do not have to suffer years of the law's delays, and that common cases can be heard, their linkages can be tracked, and matters can be disposed of. It's good for the citizens. It's good for the state because there is finality to public projects. It is good for industry. It is good for business. It's a win-win situation. In the case of the motor accidents tribunals matters, the generation of metadata for identification of cases will ensure that we are able to fathom the linkages in matters involving similar personal injuries. As we all know, we deal with a lot of MSAT cases in the Supreme Court. Most of these cases involve basic computations of income, age, multiplier, so on and so forth. Now, these are cases where the application of information technology can speed up our processes of disposal. So I do not look upon the new projects which are launched today by the Kerala High Court as merely converting what was done manually into an electronic form. I think this is the basis today, not merely for first generation reforms of the Indian judiciary, but second and third generation reforms. And what do I mean by the first and second generation reforms? The first generation reforms which we brought about were in the process of converting the manual to the electronic. That was the first generation of reform. The second generation of reform that information and communications technology will bring about is through process automation. But there is something more, and that is the third generation of reforms. And the third generation of reforms is realizing the transformative potential of technology, generation of metadata, using machine learning for analyzing and applying the generation of metadata. So what do we do with all this data which the Kerala High Court is today generating? Unless we use that data, we are not really subserving the purpose of this public investment in this project. So the third generation of reforms, which I invite the Kerala High Court as a very distinguished High Court of a very highly literate and educated state to undertake, is the third generation of reforms to realize the full transformative potential of technology. So your dashboards, for instance, have unique features. For judges, you can use your own dashboards to track the ICJS, the Interoperable Criminal Justice System, and the Crime and Criminal Tracking Network System, the CCTNS. Advocates, it's a wonderful service to the members of the bar who can generate their own rosters. They know which are the cases that have appeared, in which they are to appear tomorrow and the next week. For prosecutors, it ensures that they have a record of cases which they have received and which they have forwarded. Above all, this is a service to litigants and lawyers. I would suggest that the Kerala High Court should undertake a statewide platform for lawyers through the auspices of the State Bar Council, so that the free services which the E-Committee is providing can be rolled out effortlessly and seamlessly to all members of the bar, particularly the juniors who will be benefited by this service. This will promote greater transparency, openness, and efficiency of the judicial process. And one area where this is most marked is the distribution of online and offline certified copies. I know as a young lawyer, and I spent a good number of years, over 2 decades as a young lawyer, how difficult it was to get a certified copy. Sometimes it was more difficult to get a certified copy than to argue a case before the judge of the High Court. So facilitating or enabling online certified copies is another attempt to make our processes truly litigant or citizen-centric, to make our processes open, transparent, and efficient. Let us answer the call of a modern judiciary, a judiciary which is not averse to being open, to allowing its processes to become transparent. But above all, this is going to become a basis for adopting fundamental changes of the manner in which judges will work and perform. One of the modules which is inaugurated today is a paperless office communication. Now, paperless office communication, I believe, is extraordinarily important for the High Courts. All our committee meetings should now become paperless. Our full court meetings should be entirely paperless, as I did when I was Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, when I provided laptops for my colleagues with a caveat that you will use now only your laptops or iPads for the purpose of full court meetings. I dare say that paperless communications, particularly in the full court and the committee meetings, will truly save trees in God's own country that Kerala truly is. But electronic dashboards, which are being created for judges, require one very important thing. And that requirement is that judges must be conversant with information and communication technology. Now, I speak to my colleagues as judges. Some of you are extraordinarily tech savvy. Some of you may not be as tech savvy. Let us train ourselves. Let us keep trainers available for judges. There is nothing wrong in telling each other, how do I work this system? I am now presiding over a paperless court where both my colleagues in the Supreme Court, Justice Hemant Gupta on my right and Justice Ajay Rastogi on my left, all three of us are completely paperless. Our files come to us electronically. We type our own notes, and there is not a scrap of paper which is delivered to us. But we had to learn. We learned from our judicial clerks. We have learned from our secretaries. We have learned from our ICT teams in the Supreme Court. So there is nothing wrong in us confessing that there is a world of knowledge which we still have to acquire. And I think it's important that judges open up their minds and acquire knowledge of ICT. The police chief came out with his wish list for the Kerala High Court. I have my own wish list for you. Let's use ICJS in Kerala. Let's make a beginning in ICJS. That's the first thing. We use artificial intelligence to translate the contents of the FIRs. Where FIRs are not in a particular language and you want to translate the contents of the FIRs, let's use ICJS as a platform and AI to translate the contents of the FIRs. Second, let us contemplate deploying artificial intelligence to translate all judgments which are being delivered by the High Court to start with into Malayalam. Irrespective of whether or not the common citizen understands the language of the court, let us make the language of the court available at the doorstep of the litigant by using information technology. Third, Kerala is a very mobile state. Young couples are traversing the world. There are disputes. Let us use online services of mediation and negotiation to help bring peace between warring parties across state and country lines. So it's time, I think, for Kerala High Court to think of launching online mediation and negotiation services. Fourth, there can be no tech-enabled judiciary without a tech-enabled bar. So training and changing the mindsets of lawyers equally is very significant. And therefore, I would compliment the members of the bar who have joined with the Computer Committee of the High Court in developing electronic modules consisting of simple to use tutorials. And the efforts of these members of the bar must deserve the utmost compliment and praise on our side. So let us develop trainers who will train our judges, trainers who will train lawyers, and encourage them to use information and communications technology. And finally, let us spread the footprint of the virtual courts. Virtual courts today are being used for petty traffic offenses. We can think of expanding the footprint of virtual courts to cover summary cases of a wider nature and variety. I thought I'll just give you a few statistics on what the virtual courts in India have achieved so far as on 15th of June 2020. On 15th of June 2020, the statistics indicate that 12.6 lakh challans have been received by the virtual courts. In 12.5 lakh cases, fines have been imposed. 7.8 lakh offenders have pleaded guilty. An amount of rupees 94.50 crores has been realized by way of fine. 47,000 people have said that they want to contest the proceedings. They are at liberty to proceed to contest the proceedings. So what is the importance of the virtual court? The first and basic importance of the virtual court is that it is citizen-centric. It's an effort of the Indian judiciary to tell our citizens that we realize that time has value, that courts are not just places where citizens come only to be granted an adjournment. We value your time, we value your productivity. And therefore, when you can plead guilty if you want to a petty offense, pay your fine online, you are saved of the botheration of coming to the court. Second, it leads to judicial productivity. The work of number of judges in Delhi, for instance, 20 judges is being handled by one judge. But third, it also promotes compliance with the rule of law. It ensures that our metro cities do not become the accident capitals of the world. Now, the E-Committee of the Supreme Court is in the process of formulating a standard operating procedure and SOP for digitization. Because I would invite the Kerala High Court now to think beyond e-filing and think about digitizing. And digitizing not merely old cases or disposed of cases, not the legacy data, but digitizing current pending cases. because we have to have a synchronized platform between newly filed e-filed cases and the pending cases which are on the file of the High Court. And from digitization, we propose to move towards a national repository of judicial data and the interoperability of the data at all levels across the nation. So we must digitize with very grave care. We must ensure that in the process of digitizing, we maintain basic machine learning equipment, and that in future, our data, which is digitized, becomes interoperable. We have recently rolled out the video conferencing rules as part of the E-Committee's work in the Supreme Court. 5 Chief Justices of the High Courts had done the exercise. And I believe model rules on video conferencing have a special relevance to Kerala, which is such a mobile state, as I said a short while ago, because video conferencing can really facilitate the resolution of disputes. It can ensure that investigating officers do not have to go to far-off courts to give formal evidence in a criminal trial. It ensures that medical officers don't have to leave their hospitals, but can give evidence from hospitals in the course of a criminal trial. That spouses who are at war do not have to give up their jobs for repeated appearances in the court, but can record their evidence through video conferencing. Above all, and before I conclude, let me compliment this effort of the Kerala High Court, which is genuinely a collaborative exercise between the High Court and the state government. The state government has a very vital role to play in the provision of infrastructure to our high courts. And the manner in which this has been achieved, I was impressed to learn that an IAS officer is assisting the committee as the head of the ICT project. And this shows really the interest which is being taken by all levels of the administration, that ICT enhancement is not merely a baby for the courts and the judges. It's equally a concern for the administration, for the government, because it deeply affects the welfare of citizens. And whatever affects the welfare of citizens is a matter of genuine and legitimate concern for the state. And finally, I leave you with a thought. My thought is that Kerala should become the first state in the country to eradicate information and communications technology illiteracy among the bench and the bar. It pretty much became the first state to achieve full literacy in the country, but let Kerala become the first state to become a 100% ICT literate state, at least insofar as the bench and the bar is concerned. If we do that, we will foster the most important thing, which is a change in mindsets. Because it is only when we change mindsets that we will be able to realize and tap the full potential of the technology that we are deploying as part of all these projects today. So thank you very much, Chief Justice Manikumar, for inviting me, and Justice Mushtaq. It's been a great pleasure to be here on the electronic mode in video conferencing. And I wish all your endeavors in the Kerala High Court success. Above all, I compliment your CPC. I compliment all the members of the staff of the Kerala High Court who have been involved in this exercise. And I also thank the National Informatics Center, the NIC team, which has supported the endeavor of the Kerala High Court. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. We have come to the end of today's program. I invite Honorable Mr. Justice A.K. Jayashankar Nambiar to conclude this program with his closing remarks.
My fellow members of the E-Committee, my fellow brother and sister judges of the Kerala High Court as well as the other high courts of the country, Learned Advocate General of the state, other law officers who are watching this program through the virtual mode, and all the invitees and guests and attendees at this virtual conference. I heard the state police chief mention during the course of his address that he wished our High Court to be on the cloud. Let me assure him today, we are on cloud 9. This is indeed a momentous occasion for the Kerala High Court, especially because we're rolling out this e-filing module, which promises to bring access to justice as a faster reality to our citizenry. I must say here that a lot of time and effort has gone into the development of these modules, and the contributions of not only the IT team of our High Court, but also that of the lawyers, the advocates, clerks, the litigants, has also been in no mean measure, because all the inputs that we have gathered from these people, these sets of people, have gone into the making of this module. And as my brother Justice Mushak mentioned in his inaugural address, the efforts of the lawyers of the High Court in assisting us at each step of the way has been incredible, and we owe them a bouquet of gratitude. When it comes to the support and encouragement that we have received, all of you heard Justice Chandrachud in his address. You've noticed the passion, the enthusiasm that came across when he was talking about the developments in the IT field, and especially in adopting technology in our workspace. That is the very enthusiasm and passion that guides us and provides us the source of inspiration and confidence. Thank you, Dr. Chandrachud, for being there at all times. And as for your wish list, which itself is a lot of pressure, to be frankly admitting it, you might be pleased to hear that as far as the digitization is concerned, we are already in the process of it. And we have actually planning to digitize the latest case records and not only the legacy records. So that's something that we will come back to you with, hopefully in the near future. But apart from that, we have a tall order, and the pressure with which we work, and this is in a lighter sense, I mean, we're not complaining. There is a lot of pressure on us, because every time we come up with something, you're talking about generation 3. And we believed it was generation 3, but then you tell us that it is generation 1, and so on and so forth. But we are desperately trying to make changes here, and hopefully we will achieve those milestones in the not too distant future. We are also in the process of developing suitable software. So as you mentioned, for the minimization of the use of paper in our courts. And that is certainly something that we will achieve in the near future, because in the computer committee, we have already decided to go paperless. And the communication among the judges of the computer committee as of today is in virtual mode. Even our meetings are actually held on virtual mode. So we are progressing, no doubt, in that regard. Now, any venture that is started must necessarily continue, and for that we require the support of all the stakeholders. And the support that we have been getting from the legal fraternity has been outstanding. I say this because, as you're all aware, we began the sittings and hearings through video conferencing mode immediately after the lockdown was announced. And the kind of response that we got from the lawyer community, as also from the support staff in the High Court, was incredible. The enthusiasm shown was also incredible. And thanks to that, we've been able to have a lot of disposals of cases through the video conferencing mode. And this is something that we are certainly proud of, not only for the fact that we were able to reach across to the citizenry and dispense justice during a hard time for the entire nation, but also because this virtually kickstarted our efforts at computerization across the board. So with these milestones that we've already achieved, and with the hope that this would only be the beginning for more initiatives to come in future, let me conclude by thanking all who have been instrumental in holding this function today and for kickstarting the entire process. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now disconnect and conclude this function. Thank you.